we're going to be doing a new guitar day, but it's not a new guitar, it's a used guitar. We're going to talk about the Jackson and why Jackson doesn't make guitars in Japan anymore. So first, let me start with what this is. This is a 2008 made in Japan Jackson DK2. DK stands for dinky, 2 stands for 2 humbuckers. So that's what they call it. It is an altered body with a maple neck. It has a compound radius fretboard with jumbo frets, 2 Seymour Duncan pickups. I believe it's a JB in a Jazz. It has a licensed Floyd Rose tremolo that is a Jackson tremolo that is licensed by Floyd Rose. Yes, it has got a chrome arm because I want there. The guy at the store gave me a chrome arm that didn't match, and I was going to say something, but to be honest, I liked it. So I kept it. The original knobs are metal, they're black knobs. I took them off and I put on the speed knobs or the strat knobs. Those are the knobs I prefer. I put those on most of my guitars. The neck carve on this is fantastic, and I've owned many Japanese dinkies before, and this is the trick with the made in Japan guitars as a whole, not only just the Jacksons. The art of guitar building in Japan is much more in depth than it is in a lot of places, where a lot of places rely on the CNC machines to carve the necks. In Japan, they're still hand carving the necks and they're hand shaping them. So I've owned about 4 of these dinkies, and to be honest with you, my favorite, the ones that I love the most, the one I love the most, which the color was, I did not like the neck. It was really thick and it just didn't feel right. This one is not that thick at all. In fact, the other one I didn't like was a little too thin, and that's what happens. You know, you kind of you think that there's a standard neck profile, and there's not with these. They're a little all over the place, but generally close to each other. But if you have one and you like it, you would be probably disappointed if you ordered another one. But what I've been wanting for years is a maple neck one. I've been wanting a maple neck dinky, and so when I was in a music store the other day, I saw this hang on the wall. It's been hanging there for weeks actually, and I thought, $320 for a made in Japan guitar, alder body, Duncan's, maple neck, compound radius. It just seemed like a no-brainer, didn't it? So I bought it. Now, before you think, oh my goodness, what a deal he got, $320 is about par for these for the most part. I've seen this particular one go as high as $5 and as low as $250. The white one tends to go for more money. It's more desirable. Any of the crazy colored ones tend to go for more money. And some of these can hit $1,000 and some of these can be $200. Generally, you can find a black one and save yourself a lot of money. And so there you go with that. The other thing that's interesting about this guitar is that I didn't have to do anything to it. I got it and I basically just put some new strings on it. I put some String Joy 10s on it. I'm trying those out. I'll let you guys know what I think. But so far, so good. Out of the box, they were great strings. They feel great, but to me, it's a longevity thing. Will they last as long as my Addarios? We'll see. Before I do some sound samples, I figure I'd answer that question I started, which is, why don't they make Japanese Jacksons anymore? In 2002, Fender bought Jackson guitars, but they continued the Made in Japan series. In fact, a spokesman at Fender once told me that the factory that made the guitars was probably not even aware of a change. The guitars made in Japan were made in the same factory from the day they started making guitars until about 2008, 2009 when they stopped. So what changed? Fender hired John Romanowski. He was an intricate part of Ibanez. And what's interesting is that when Jackson hired him, he not only started the Minion series, which is a mini Jackson guitar to be like kind of like the micro Ibanez guitars, but more importantly, he's the one who stopped the Made in Japan Jackson guitars. The reasoning being that Jackson isn't a Japanese company. They were born in California as a brand, as a company, unlike Ibanez and Tokai, who were Japanese brands. Of course, the premium guitars being made in Japan made sense, where he was like, the premium Jacksons are made in the USA, and after USA, it's not really relevant where they're made. A lot of us old schoolers will be like, no, the Japanese guitars are so iconic and so good, but realistically, they moved production to India, Indonesia, and of course, the Pro series, which was made in Mexico. At that time, the Jackson guitars had already been upgraded twice. In other words, originally these did not have Seymour Duncans and EMGs. They had Duncan designs, and they didn't come with gig bags. And by the time John was involved with Jackson, they had already upgraded to Duncans and EMGs and were throwing in cases to make market penetration. Now keep in mind, this guitar is a 2008. You can imagine how hard it was to sell this guitar in 2008. And I want to say in 2008, this guitar probably went for $799, about $700 for this and the case. It should have came with a case around that time, and they couldn't do it, so they had to do something. So that's the main reason why Jackson no longer makes guitars in Japan. I heard a rumor once it was the tsunami that started the nuclear meltdown, and that's why they don't do it. And there is some legitimacy to a lot of companies having issue with getting parts and things that happen when that happened, but that's not the core decision. But let's check out the guitar. So the guitar is pretty straightforward. We're going to start in the bridge pickup. I have my Fender Princeton right here, and I'm running my Burnley pedal. So let's go ahead and check out that neck pickup. Okay, let's go ahead and use this looper. If you'd like me to do more videos where I talk about older guitars like this, I'd like to know. Put that in the comments down below or give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, this is a good time to subscribe. If I see the subscription go up on any particular video, I tend to do more of those types of videos. So just something for you to note. As always, I want to thank you so much for your time. Until the next time, know your gear.